morning. It's Monday, so you know what time it is. It is Conversations on the Patio time. So today we're going to talk about the big C. Yeah, the big C. So my history with cancer is that my father in 2008 was diagnosed with stage 4 bladder cancer, and by the next summer, July 2009, he had passed away. I learned a lot during that year, basically because that was my first experience with it. So I didn't know much about it until I went through it with him. And it's funny because everybody talks about chemo and they talk about treatments and they talk about all this stuff. And you really don't know how it affects somebody until you watch somebody go through it. And it really makes you think how you would handle it if it happened to you. Now, with my father, the treatment was worse than the disease. I mean, the disease was bad, don't get me wrong, but the treatment really messed him up in ways that I never thought would happen. He ended up developing blood clots in both of his legs, and by the time the hospital caught it, it was too late to do anything about it, and that's ultimately what killed him. I mean, come to find out later, his body at that point was riddled with cancer, but ultimately he believed that it was the clots that actually did him in. I remember him telling me that had he had to do it all over again, he wouldn't do the chemo treatments. Now again, it's a personal choice. Everybody has to make their decisions on how they want to deal with things. This past week, last week, I had a little cancer scare myself, and it was breast cancer. And fortunately for me, it came back benign, and I'm very thankful. But not everybody's that thankful, and not everybody's that lucky. So it really just makes you think when you're going through it, and when those thoughts are going through your mind of, okay, this may be happening to me, and what am I going to do? How am I going to handle it? Now, for me, I'm a different situation because I have chronic kidney disease. I have IgAN. I'm already in stage 3 chronic kidney disease. So my whole thing when I was going through last week was, did I work this hard to get where I am just to have it taken away from me because of cancer? Because I don't know because I've never been through it, but I have a pretty good idea that if I was to go through chemo with chronic kidney disease, it'd probably destroy my kidneys. And I would end up on dialysis, which if you guys have been watching, that is the last thing that I want to do right now. Like, I am fighting so hard not to be on dialysis. I've sacrificed a lot not to go on dialysis. So it would be like, that to me is a bigger fear than anything else right now, which is kind of silly because cancer can kill you. Like, it can kill you pretty fast if it's not caught right away, and if it's a bad, if you're have an aggressive form of it. But all I was thinking about was, I may end up on dialysis. This may put me on dialysis. Again, fortunately, it came back benign. But it really got me thinking about how much my life has changed and how I am so at risk. Like, the risk factor for me has gone up so much. And every day, I have to be thankful for. I have to be thankful for every single day, because at any moment, it could change. At any moment, it could completely be different than it is right now. And that's true for everything. Don't get me wrong. We all, as human beings, live with the realization that things can change in a heartbeat. We're not immortal. We could be walking across the street and get hit by a car. We could be in the wrong place at the wrong time. A lot of things can deter your life. and make it change completely. But there's a lot of things that can do that we can control. You know, we can control situations we put ourselves in. We can control how we drive. I mean, we can't control how other people can drive, but we can be mindful of how we're driving. We can be mindful of what we eat. We can be mindful of where we go. So we can be mindful of the things that we do every day and the situations we put ourselves in. Now, the things we can't control, illness. We can't control it. We really can't. I mean, we can choose to live a healthy life and we can do everything we can to live a healthy life. But if we're going to get sick, we're going to get sick. If we're genetically, I can't even think of the word right now, brain fog. See, this is part of it, brain fog. If our makeup is basically like, this is in our makeup and we have the genes to get these diseases are probably going to happen to us. And there's very little we can do to control it. For me, I had no idea about IgAN or IgAN. I always say IgAN, it's IgAN. I had no idea about IgAN until I was diagnosed with it. I would not have even thought about changing my diet sooner for my health because I didn't think there was anything wrong with me. I didn't know I was at risk. So I kept living my life the way that I was living my life and enjoying the foods that I love to eat. And it took me getting sick to make those mindful changes. And for some people, it's too late to make those changes. And I was fortunate that I was able to turn it around as quickly as I did. But it's crazy because when you get cancer, it's not that simple. Like, you can change it, but it's kind of out of your control. I mean, it's all out of your control. Even the chronic kidney disease is out of my control. And so it just makes you reevaluate everything of how you live, what you eat, where you go, what you do. Like, everything becomes you have to plan it out, I guess you can say. Like, you have to start being mindful of every single thing, because yes, I could get hit by a car. Let's put it this way. Yes, I could go out today and I could walk across the street and I could get hit by a car. And that would be it. That could be it. And that's out of my control. That is kind of out of my control, but not really, because I could be mindful of where I'm at. I could be mindful of my surroundings, and I can try to be as smart as possible about what I'm doing. With diseases and sickness, you kind of can do the same thing, but if it's an aggressive form, or if it's an aggressive case, it's hard. It's really hard to control it because it could change at any minute. Like, I could wake up tomorrow and my GFR could drop 10 points. For no reason. I mean, there's probably a reason, but to my mind, there wouldn't be a reason because I haven't changed anything. But it could be something as simple as I didn't get enough sleep. It could be something as simple as I walked way more than I should have, which I did do on Saturday. Saturday, I walked way more than I should have, and let me tell you, it took all my spoons and put me down. That could change my GFR. It's just a lot. And when you put cancer in the mix, it gets really scary, because then now it's not just my chronic kidney disease that I have to be careful about. Now it's this whole nother level of stuff I have to worry about. So it's all there. It's all underlining, and it's all there. And it's scary. It's very scary. It sucks. It makes me really angry. And I honestly don't even know if this conversation makes any sense, because I feel like I'm all over the place, and I'm really sorry for that. I guess my point was, I just wanted to get on and just be like, we just don't really know what's going to happen. And when you put illness in the mix, it just messes everything up. It really just messes things up. And you have to be really cautious of what you're doing and situations you're putting yourself in, and what you're eating and what you're drinking, and your stress level and your anxiety level, like all of that. And like the idea of adding one more thing to me just scared me. I mean, it should scare me. It should be scary. If it didn't scare me, then I don't know. But there's a lot of people that are fighting their illnesses. There are a lot of people that are committing every day to getting as healthy as they can possibly be with the challenges that they have been given to them. And I am one of those people. And I want those people to know that I'm here and I support you and you're not alone. And it is scary. It's a very, very scary journey.